Knowledge is the treasure. You must engrave this into your heart if you seek the other side of the door. Empty. 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 Thought maybe I had to put the books in the chests, but I can't select the books. Boo. Put some water in it. Don't R's only get translated into L's in Latin? I don't know. I mean, they could have just not translated it and just used the Latin name. But you never know. I mean, this translating team was obviously, like, super lost in the sauce. So, they could have not even known it was Latin. Like, as silly as that sounds. I mean, like, there's so many Final Fantasy VII translations that are just like, how did you not know? Like, how did you not know what a chimera is? Being a translator for a fantasy game? Like, how did you get into the position of being a translator for a fantasy video game and not know what a chimera is? Like, stuff like that. But also, I don't know what... I'm really curious how the translation kind of worked for games like Final Fantasy VII. Did they have a team that did translation? Or was it literally like Japanese to English translators that have never played a video game? You know what I mean? Especially for 7, it feels weird because... Yeah, usually it was like one guy as well. Yeah. Usually it's like not even a team. Using the word team is an exaggeration. But if it was one guy, then it was probably someone in Square Enix. So, like, he should have some understanding of, like, basic fantasy terms, you know what I mean? But also being rushed, you never know. But what perplexes me about it is the lack of understanding of how important translation is, because 7 was the first game that they truly wanted to sell in the States. The other ones were like, we sell it in Japan and then maybe we try it in the States. Like, we just kind of throw over a port and have one guy translate it and, you know, maybe we make some extra money. 7 was the first one that they truly wanted to sell in the US. They wanted to make Final Fantasy a thing in the US. They wanted to try to tap into the US market and the European market. So how could you not think that translation is like an absolute necessity to be super important? Like, why would you not be putting a ton of resources into that? I don't know. It's just a weird, like, thing with game development. And 7 was already rushed, so maybe translation was supposed to be a big deal, but then it took them so long to actually finish the game. And translation is going to be at the very end of the cycle, because you're not going to translate the game before the game's finished. So they probably had to rush to finish the game, and then that means translation was even more rushed because they were already behind schedule. But yeah, I don't know. And like you said, not only does Square have a long habit of bad translations, but like all of the 90s and early 2000s, it was all bad. Like you don't really hear you don't hear many good translations in this time period. They were all rough. So I don't know. It's interesting. And I don't know exactly what happened where now translation is pretty good. You know. I don't know what change happened where they were like, we need better translators, but at some point, everyone got their crap together. I think the difference now is that they have their own translation teams. They don't outsource it. That's one big thing, but still. The pages turn automatically to a sentence. Closed minds will lead Filgaia to its doom. The ills have gone to another world. For 1,000 years, people have torn apart the land looking for the future they've lost. A foolish woman opened the box and all the desires of the world were released. This is human nature in its purest form. What do you search for with those closed eyes? This is Filgaia, a dying world. Wondering if I should write that down. I'm not sure. My only guess right now is that I need to open these chests in a current or in a specific pattern. Okay, they do close. So that would make sense. And this says knowledge is the treasure. Knowledge and treasure go hand in hand. The door will not open until an understanding is reached. Okay, so it's definitely open the chests in a certain order. Just gotta figure out the order. Closed minds will lead Filgaia to its doom. The ills have gone to another world. For 1,000 years, people have torn apart the land, looking for the future they've lost. Foolish woman opened the box and all the desires of the world were released. This is human nature in its purest form. What do you search for with those closed eyes? This is Filgaia, a dying world. Well, I have a guess. Is it the reverse of my guess? Glad I'm getting all these magic carrots so I can just spam invisible. That's it. Darn. Okay. Closed minds. Lead Fulgaia to its doom. The ills have gone to another world. For 1,000 years, people have torn apart the land looking for the future they've lost. What do you search for with those closed eyes? This is Fulgaia, a dying world. Thousand years. Torn apart the land. Looking for the future they've lost. So the first one says has closed in the text. The last one has close in the text. The fourth one has open in the text. So it could be that you keep the fourth one open and you open the fourth one and you keep the first and fifth one closed. But these don't seem to have anything. It has looking, I don't know if that means open it and look in it. Torn apart the land looking for the future, so maybe you open this one. But then this one, like, this one just like, huh? This one doesn't seem to have any information about anything. Pour some water on it. Why did... Okay, first of all, I feel like that was longer than normal. Second of all, it's like echoing because of the audio glitch. And that makes it even better. Yeah, this one's really throwing me for a loop. I don't know what this one means. My other theory was that it was the amount of words. So this one has 7, or this one has 8. Wait, this one has 7. I flipped those. Hold up. My original theory might still be right. I flipped them on accident. This one has 16. That one has 23, and this one has 17. Or 15, I mean. I thought because the first and second bookshelf have almost the same amount of words. They're only one short of each other. So that made me suspicious that the number of words had something to do with it. So that's why that was the first thing I tried. But I accidentally swapped the first and second. So let's try it again with the correct. It would be this, 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 this. Nope. Let's try the reverse again. Okay, I'm glad it wasn't that, because I would have been mad that I didn't get it right away, because I miscounted. The other thing is, it might have something to do with the word knowledge. Whoa. But I didn't see anything to do with knowledge. And knowledge is also like too many letters for it to fit into 5 chests. Like this, the last word. The last word starts with D. And the last word of this one ends in W. But then the last word in this one, the last word in this one is L. So that's 3 letters of knowledge. But then this one is F. So, oof. And this one's W again. There's 5 bookshelves and 5 chests. I feel like they gotta correlate. Like, this one has to be the 5th chest. I just don't know exactly what it means. I'm still convinced that has something to do with close and open. Let's do close, close, open, open, close. See what happens. It's true, knowledge is the real treasure. It can help people as well as confuse them. That was the answer. So why is the ills going to a new world count as closed? I mean, that was just a guess. I figured like they went away so they didn't open the chest, basically. It's like my thought. But that's pretty obscure. I mean, that's really obscure, because the other 3 were, like, very obvious. That's... Yeah, that's real. I mean, that is an incredible amount of faith in the player, given that the internet wasn't there to save you. That's wild, honestly. I would actually say this is a pretty poor puzzle. Because if they were all abstract, it'd be one thing, but the fact that 3 of them are obvious and then the 2 are abstract really doesn't feel like that's the way the puzzle's supposed to be. Like, it feels like you're missing something. I would be annoyed. If I were a kid and it took me like 4 hours and I finally figured that out, I'd be annoyed. I wouldn't be... I wouldn't feel like, yes, I figured it out. I'd be like, the heck is that? You know? And then, yeah, on top of that, the translation not helping a lot. Although I'm curious... Even the original translation or original text probably is still pretty tough to figure out. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Glad I figured it out, though. It's also not even obvious that you leave some open and have to check the door. You know what I mean? Usually, pretty much every door in the game, like earlier someone was saying, like, did you check the door? And I was thinking, like, every door in the game you solve the puzzle and then it opens on its own. You don't check it. So you have to know that the puzzle's like really obtuse, and you have to know that you leave some of the chests open, and you have to know you check the door in between, you know? That's a lot of faith in the player there. Also, ow. These things hurt a lot. I gotta disagree with you there. I mean, at least for a PS1 game for kids. It's the Song of Wind. It dwells in the power to become power. It dwells in the soul to defeat the enemy. Like I said, I think if they were all obtuse, it'd be different. What the? Is this a... It is. It's an optical illusion. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I think either all 5 have abstract thought, or all 5 have, like, a word in them that is open or closed, or a synonym of open and closed. That's just not the way my mind would think, especially as a kid. A puzzle would be. Like, fair puzzle, I guess, quote-unquote fair. This is a Song of Lightning. It dwells in the sword to become power. It dwells in the soul to defeat the enemy. Like, I'm okay with an abstract puzzle if by the end of it, I'm like, aha, I get it now. But that puzzle's more like, is that the solution? That'd be weird if that were the solution, and then you do it and it's the solution, and you're like, huh? You know, this is the Song of Nothingness. It dwells in the sword to become power. It dwells in the soul to defeat the enemy. This is the Song of the Sacred. And this is evil. Oh no, it's illusion. So I should adapt these characteristics into an attack. I'm gonna give it a try. There must be a bunch of different characteristics. Okay, random. Is he gonna get like a rainbow attack? I still give this game a lot of credit for, like I said, having a lot of faith in the player and not toning down the puzzles or giving them like a free solution. Like, you gotta figure it out if you want to progress. Which is a cool trait that these old PS1 and SNES RPGs have that we just don't see in video games anymore. And some would argue, like, that's a good thing because video games aren't supposed to be frustrating. But it does give these games a certain value that newer games don't have, that will always kind of exist. It sets them apart from newer games. Which is cool. I seek knowledge as guardian of the secret ways, uninvited one. Go to the left or to the right, for we shall not meet. I see it. Oh. might of the demons is determined by the strength of their machines. So why does man follow the ways of the demons? Will the path to the left lead to horns? Will the path to the right lead to man? Choose the path you believe in. I don't know, because you didn't tell me what they represent. Visitors to Book of De La Metallica, what do you seek in this foreign world? The one who turns left here shall receive the power of death. The one who turns right here shall receive the power of life. Well, the power of death sounds bad, but that's technically what we came here for. We already got the power of life. Guardian Blade, who is this that possesses unworthy powers? To forge a future for the world, choose the left door. To take the future from the world, choose the right door. To take the future from the world. That's wild. How's it going, Martin? Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, but I do think that games like this gave us this desire for learning things that perhaps we didn't learn in school. I mean, like, maybe it's a wild take, but there is kind of a cool synergy between you would go to school and learn and then come home and actually kind of learn playing video games, or at least use some of your knowledge or some of your smarts. And now video games and school feel so disconnected. It's like, you know, it's two completely different worlds. You're learning about geography and math and social studies in school, and then you play Fortnite and learn multiplayer and, you know, more like, so to be fair, you learn a lot more social skills playing video games nowadays than you did back in the day, which is a good thing most of the time. Not all the time, but I do think, you know, funnily enough, a lot of us played games that kind of alienated us as kids, and we were kind of outcast, both because the games themselves were single player and because gaming itself was a more niche hobby. You know, it more alienated us towards our peers playing video games in the 2000s. And nowadays, it's not only a popular hobby and something that most everyone does, but also the games themselves are much more social. So in that aspect, I think that social skills have gotten a lot better with kids. But there's other things that are hurting their social skills, like smartphones and always being in their phone in public places, and stuff. Like, social skills are at an all-time low for kids, I think, in general. But I think that some video games are actually helping that. But in terms of like basic knowledge and stuff you learn in school, I don't think you really apply that in video games nowadays as much as you did back in the 90s. So I guess it's positive and negatives, you know? In my experience, playing video games in the mid-2000s actually kind of helped my social experience, because I met other kids that were playing video games and we had something in common, and it gave me like a friend group when I was in middle school before I got to high school and kind of broke out of my shell. So for me, video games actually kind of helped, but I don't think that's the norm. I think many kids used video games as a escape from social situations in the mid-2000s, and I knew a lot of kids that were very sheltered and played video games, but you wouldn't even know it, you know? Yeah, that's a good point. It's it's honestly really sad that video games are an all-time high in terms of social interaction, but then society is like an all-time low in terms of social interaction. It should be that we all have more social intelligence due to the multiplayer games being more popular, but instead it's like the reverse, because it's just people aren't as social anymore in public. It's very, very closed off world. People are in their phones, people are grabbing their thing and going. It's not as much of a social environment just because of multiple things. People don't act like human beings in multiplayer games, though. Depends, but yes. Depends, but yes. You got games like League of Legends and Call of Duty and CSGO where people act like insane people. Then you have games like Minecraft and Arc Raiders and stuff where even some team-based shooters and stuff where it's a lot more social interaction and stuff. Now Minecraft, better for worse, but you know, kids will find friends through Minecraft and join servers that they're a part of for a really long time and have like permanent friends through, and they'll also get into a lot of trouble, but there's definitely a lot of stuff there. And you know, me, like my social interaction with internet games was Call of Duty 4, and it was through the PS3 friends list, which was, looking back on it, pretty laughable. But even with that ancient technology, I was able to create a friend group, and we would all play at the same time. And I still know freaking Snipes in the chat was someone that I met back then in a Call of Duty 4 lobby. So the ability to like meet people through multiplayer games and form lasting friendships is a very real thing. But in general, you know, in terms of like, so like if you base your in real life social interactions on your interactions in like Fortnite or Call of Duty or League of Legends, you're just gonna freaking scream at people. Like, I don't know. It doesn't look good. And also, then you have on top of that, a lot of the people that are famous in those spaces are specifically doing those types of things, you know, going into Fortnite and harassing people, or going into Fortnite and just being like a clown, for better or for like, even if they're like, their intentions are good. Even take like the best creator in that space, there's still someone that's like over exaggerating all their experiences, you know? So then kids kind of learn to be that way, like to be very exaggerated all the time. And that doesn't seem healthy either. So I remember, I'm sure it's way different now, but I remember even when I was in high school, I thought that the middle schoolers below me were like just all like, there was a kid in our class who you would describe as like the class clown, who whenever the teacher walked out of the room, he was the one like instigating stuff. Whenever there was a substitute teacher, he was the one that was like, all right, gang, you know what to do. You know, like he was the one that was always instigating goofy stuff or breaking rules or whatever. And everyone kind of looked to him as like well, as long as we're not as bad as that kid, we'll be fine. But I felt like 80% of the middle schoolers below me were that kid. Like they were all trying to be class clown. They were all trying to be the instigator. They were all trying to like be loud and obnoxious, or like be the one that everyone else looked at. And I felt like a good amount of that was the content creators that they were watching. Like that was just what was super popular at that time. It was the PewDiePies and I don't know if Jacksepticeye is a good example, because he's not really that same like multiplayer space, but like those are the type of creators that were like popular at that time. Also, what's the one? Oh, I blanked on the name. probably a good thing because he's fallen from grace now, but you know, that was like the era of loud and obnoxious, funny multiplayer content. So I feel like every kid was trying to like be that. And I don't know. I'm sure it hasn't gotten any better nowadays. People always speak of justice while using power to enforce it. What then is the meaning of justice? If you want justice as power, take the right door. If you want power as justice, take the left door. If you want justice as power. If you want power as justice. I don't know if I've just gotten all of these right, or if none of this... Oh, nope, looks like I got them. That one was the first one I got wrong. I got all of these right up to this point? That's crazy. I like how the doors stay open for you, too. Wait, what? Okay, wait just a second. Maybe I didn't get him right. Because it sent me back anyways. What happens if I go right? What the heck? How am I supposed to know which ones I'm getting right and wrong? I think we got a code red here, boys. Like, I don't even know what this first answer is, because he just says, go to the left or to the right, for we shall not meet. It's like, well, what's the right answer for this one? Is this one open now? Does it still say shut? Yeah. Bruh. We're gonna be here forever. And this one's just a question. Will the path to the left lead to horns? Will the path to the right lead to man? Choose the path you believe in. Well, I don't know. And then this one seems like I should pick death. Because I already have the power of life. I'm here to get the power of illusion. But, like, that could also just be a, you know, no, pick life because life is good and death is bad. So, like, I don't know what that could be. To forge a future for the world, choose the left door. To take the future from the world, choose the right door. So you would imagine you'd want left, but I don't know, because we're here for, like, illusion. So, like, maybe not. I don't know. I have an idea of what all these answers should be, but I don't know for certain any of them. I think this one's right. I have no idea. This is not good. Not good at all. Why does man follow the ways of the demons? I don't know. And there's fights in here too. At least they give me a lot of carrots. People always speak of justice while using power to enforce it. What then is the meaning of justice? Yeah, this is oof. This is oof. I have no idea which ones I'm getting right and which ones I'm getting wrong. And I can't even get out of this room. I got a code red. The first one said it doesn't even matter because we won't meet. So what does that mean? I seek knowledge as guardian of the secret ways, uninvited one. Go to the left or to the right, for we shall not meet. Is the first one just free then? We're cooked. I gotta be missing something. I mean, I don't know. What should I do? Is there like... Okay, wait. Sometimes when I go through the left door, it gives me a right or like a staircase to the left. Other times it gives me a staircase to the right. Is that a clue? Seems to just go back and forth, but then at one point, I get two rights in a row. I guess it's just a question. That's like right there, it just goes right two times in a row regardless of what you pick. Okay, never mind. Never mind that theory. I mean, do I just look up the answer? Because I'm not going to be able to guess it. Doesn't seem to be any kind of clue as to whether or not you're getting one right or not. I was wondering if maybe like the sound effect was different or something, but didn't seem to be anything. Help me, Handpan. Go in there and tell me if it's the right door. You can work out the answers to the last four. The first one doesn't really tell you which is correct. What? It has to. How could you make a puzzle with like 6 answers where the first one is not clear? That's like... Just end the game here then. What? Why would they do that? Unless it's a translation thing again, but doesn't seem like it. These answers are not specific enough for you to know if you're getting them right or not. It's the problem. If I knew for a fact the answer was left or right for the last 4, I could just guess on the first, which would still be a dumb puzzle, but at least it would be solvable. But there's no way for me to know what's right here. I can come up with like a conjecture. Like, people always speak of justice while using power to enforce it. So they use power to enforce justice, meaning you would want the power of justice. The power as justice doesn't make sense, I think, but maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. There's like no way to know, because it's a more abstract kind of thing. It's not 4 + 4 = 8, so there's no way to like know for sure. The might of the demons is determined by the strength of their machines, so why does man follow the ways of the demons? So it sounds like I'm supposed to follow the way of the demon, meaning I'm supposed to go the horn path. But again, because it's all question marks, who knows if that's even right. And then again, this one seems like it's death because we came here for the power of illusion, but it could also be life just because life is better than death. To forge a future for the world, choose the left door. To take the future from the world, choose the right door. It would make sense that we would want to forge a future, but also the Guardian Blade is the thing that, like, destroys. So do I pick the one that destroys? And then this one, I mean, again, you could take it either way. I mean, this is just impossible. If my logic on even one of these is wrong, I'm never going to solve it. There's too many different outcomes. This one, like, the rest of them are at least you could just give like the most vanilla RPG character answer of just picking like life and justice and whatever. But like this one is so backwards. And then even if I do pick the obvious RPG answer, we still don't know what the first one is. Still don't know what the first answer is because it's just a coin toss. I'm just going to pick vanilla answer for all these. We'll pick the man door. We'll pick the life door. We'll do a future for the world. And then I think the justice one would be the left door. We want justice as power, or power as just, I don't know what this means. So I'll do left here again. I'll try right with the justice door this time. I can't even leave this area to read that book now, though. I'm stuck here. Oh, you said was there. I thought you said there was. I don't think so. Other than just the general lore of the game. Okay, so now I'll try right. Bro. So, you're telling me we came here for the power of illusion, which was literally the purple evil looking book. And yet we have to tell him that we came here for the power of life, even though we already have the power of life. Then on top of that, he says, why do humans seek out the power of demons, but then we still have to pick the man door? The justice one is just a complete coin toss. And the first one is just you pick the left door because reasons? And you have to... huh? I typed Wild Arms door puzzle and they immediately got a GameFAQ guide for this exact puzzle. I wonder why. Yeah, no one even explains what it means. They're just like, here's the answer. I don't see any of these actually explaining the answer. They just say the answer. Take the following path. Left, right, right, left, right. Most of this is okay, but how are you supposed to know to go through the left door at the start? Yeah. Wow. That may be the worst puzzle I've ever seen in a video game. I'm not even kidding. That might be the worst I've ever seen. That was genuinely awful. What were they thinking? And the fact that that door is the first door. It's not even the last door. It's not even like you figure it out up to that point and then you have a coin toss where you have to do it again if you got the coin toss wrong. It's like that's the first one. So you're just completely lost as whether or not anything you're doing is right. That's, I mean, that was horrific. That's the first genuinely horrible thing I could say is in this game. That was not it, partner. And again, it does not seem like a translation thing either, you know, because it was random. I don't think it was like the translation making it random. I think it was just random. This is the realm of the forbidden knowledge. I am the keeper of all the knowledge stored here. Humans, you have successfully overcome the labyrinth. You have earned the right to possess the secret power of illusion. Just remember, the power is a vehicle, not a driver. Warrior and the shaman princess, take my powers. Have faith in what you do. And this guy's like an obvious, like, evil dude. Why did I have to pick... It's literally the Hades rune, but I had to pick the life door? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Apparently you were supposed to read books. No, the first one is literally random, Dark Lord. He literally just says, pick left or right, I don't care. There's no book that tells you which way to go. Where are you reading this? Where did you read that there's books that tell you the answer? It's only the slabs. Where are you getting this information? Holy crap. The ultimate magic rune, but it lowers all my other stats. I'm in. What a joke. That's just terrible. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe how bad that puzzle was. Like, I'm just imagining that in, like, any other game. Answer these 5 questions, and I'm not going to tell you which ones you're getting right or wrong, and the first one is random. And they're all, like, kind of obscure. I mean, in the end, they were kind of like, just the good guy RPG answer. Again, like, my logic on the life and death one was pretty sound logic. And because that was incorrect, I would have never gotten that right if I didn't just go with the vanilla answer to try to see if it worked. Yeah, that might be the worst I've ever seen. And I've seen some bad ones. But that might take the cake as the worst puzzle. If it was mistranslated, it'd be like, whatever, but... that first question... Wow. And then the justice one also... still, in my mind, barely makes sense. Anyways, other than that terrible puzzle... this was an awesome section of the game. I'm still just blown away that I genuinely thought we were at the end of the game, and then they hit me with, like, here's another continent. Granted, the other continent only has, like, 3 locations, but still. Was not expecting that. Was not expecting the time travel in the ancient area. That was awesome. And The dungeon with the demons was cool, with him like hitting you with all the traps and stuff, and the jokes were good and stuff. Also, we've really hit this like fast-paced part of the game where I went into the one dungeon, and then when I left that dungeon, just immediately threw me into the next dungeon, and then immediately threw me into the time travel. We haven't really had like just an open up, try to figure out where to go section today. We were just going through everything. The one part that would have been search the world for where to go next was finding the book, but I got lucky and guessed it on my first try that it would be at the Abbey. And you had to go all the way. I mean, you had to, and that was, again, throughout the entire game, you really have not had to go through any early dungeons. So whenever I was going through an early dungeon and like there were still combat encounters and I was one-shotting everything, I was kind of like, probably not the right way to go. And it was true, that was never the right way to go. But this was one scenario where you had to go through a dungeon that was from the very beginning of the game, fighting level 1 enemies, get all the way down to the bottom of it and check a book, and that was the correct thing to do. I would imagine a lot of kids got stuck there. Because I, as a kid, would not think to go to an early dungeon with level 1... Like, as soon as I'm fighting level 1 enemies with a level 30 character, I'm like, this isn't the right place. You know what I mean? It's just something that a lot of RPGs don't do. So, yeah, the amount of faith they had in the player to not only have to go back to Kirin Abbey, but you have to go all the way down through that dungeon to find the book. Unless you actually remembered that book was there, which it was the very beginning of the game, so I doubt it, especially as a kid. Unless you're like, playing the game within a few days. But yeah, it's positive and negative. I think that giving that much faith to the player is a great thing, and it makes the game feel more real, like a real world that isn't just gonna tell you where to go next. The NPCs might, but that makes sense because they're trying to help you. Like, it feels you have to go back to the old library because that's where you have to go back to. It's not because it's the next area with the next enemies that are harder. You know what I mean? The logic of the story is that you need to go back to that library. It removes the logic of like a typical RPG where you just go to the place with the level 35 enemies, and then you go to the place with the level 37 enemies, and then you go to the place with the level 40 enemies. It removes that logic and makes it feel more like a real world where, no, you have to go to the library because that's where you have to go, because that's where the books are, and that's where the book is that you need to get. Regardless of what level the enemies are, or if you've been there before, or if you just unlocked an ability that allows you to go there. Like, no, the lore of the game is that that's where we have to go, so that's where we have to go. And that's really cool. It does lead to kids getting stuck and maybe putting the game down or having to look up a guide, which kind of lowers the experience a bit. But like I said, it's that unique 90s era, early 2000s era RPG feel that I wouldn't trade for the world. I would much rather get stuck in a game like this, maybe even to the point where I have to look it up, versus, an NPC following me throughout the entire game, just telling me exactly where to go. So, yeah, it's good stuff, nevertheless. The puzzle, not so much, but can't all be perfect. But awesome part of the game, cool bosses as well. I do think that I'm sufficiently OP now. Like, I was starting to feel OP the last couple of sessions, but I think now I've just completely busted the game with Hyper and Jack. And even like Cecilia's summon is super strong, but Jack just 3-shots the bosses now. It's crazy. So I don't know if the bosses are going to get tougher and it's kind of just building us up to that, or if I've just kind of reached critical mass now and nothing's going to be hard for the rest of the game. But I'm definitely just smashing the bosses now. Even the big bad boss at the end of the big bad dungeon, I like 3-shot him with Jack. So by the end of the game, I may have something to say about the balance. I don't know if the balance is there, but we'll see. The game's not over yet, so I don't want to make any overarching decisions about the balance, but it does feel like for the last 3 weeks, I've been pretty unstoppable, and now I'm just annihilating everything, so we'll see. But either way, thank you so much for being here for Wild Arms. We're going to move on to Final Fantasy X, but before we do that, let's say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Let's play Wild Arms. We will see you back here in the next episodes. Peace.